Hey everybody, it's Mark Yegge. Welcome to another weekly stock market update. I'm like in a dungeon here. It's really dark, but it is at least picking me up. And so if it's picking me up, I'm going to see what I can put down here. Let me share my screen and we'll launch into this week. Just got off a great call with our mastermind group, and we're going into Thanksgiving. So it's going to be a slightly slow week coming up, so get ready for that. That's cool. Thanksgiving is a great time. We are green. We've been green for a couple of weeks now, and the market is doing great. It's been one of the strongest breakout bulls that I've seen in a while, and it's been a while since we've had a really good breakout bull, and here we are, 4 greens, and the market is rocking. So hopefully your portfolios are rocking as well, and you're making some cash flow. That's the whole point of this thing. Anyway, this is the NASDAQ. We've got a bunch of gap ups. There's a lot of strength in gap ups. And when the NASDAQ gaps up like that, basically it's starting to lead, things off the bottom, because the NASDAQ's been kind of weak. If you look at that chart over the last several weeks, it's been up and down and lower highs and lower lows as it's been making no lower swing points. It could still do it, but it's kind of hanging up at this 14,150 level. And there's a little bit of resistance there, but I suspect, because I see a lot of volume and momentum at that level, I think it goes up and tests that 14,446 level on the NASDAQ. Good, because we need a good, strong NASDAQ to hold the rest of the market up. The S&P 500, this is a weekly chart, so you can see there's a lot of strength in this. It had a beautiful hammer candle coming off 3 weeks ago on some decent volume, and now we've carried that forward. We've come up above the 200-day moving average, the 50-day moving average, and now it's heading up to that 4607 swing point. Still a lot of work to do to get back up to 4818, which is the swing point from December of 2021, but it'll get there. It's just needs a little help from the Fed. Okay, the Dow Jones, same thing as the NASDAQ, a bunch of gaps up, which has got a lot of strength and momentum, gapping up. Gaps get filled, but not right now. And so it's trying to avert a death cross. You can see the red line trying to cross the black line. It's trying to avert it, and it may, if it can hold these levels at 35,000. We will see. The New York Stock Exchange has been the weakest index of late. You can see that's a lousy downtrending chart with a death cross on there. A couple of weeks ago where the red came down through the black. And, maybe it's going to turn around. It needs a lot of work to turn around, but it had a beautiful candle, with a lot of volume 3 days ago, and it's trying to hold that level. We need some work to be able to hold this level. But like I said last week, if we can get the New York Stock Exchange to kind of come up rather than pull the other ones down, I think we have all 4 of them moving in conjunction with each other, and that is what it looks like. A couple other things that you should notice: the VIX is down, which means the markets are up, means panic is down, that means cash going into the market is up. That's all good stuff. The transports had a couple of gaps up, which concerns me longer term, but shorter term, it's back up over the 50, it's back up over the 200. Goods are starting to move around the country. People are starting to say, hey, stocks are going up, so things are moving around. That's good stuff. Just concerned about those gaps longer term. Got to keep an eye on those. But let's see if it can hold this $15,000 level that it's at right now. The biotechs, I just want to point this out, and then I'm going to do 2 stocks and I'm going to let you go for the weekend. But the biotechs are showing us that there's a lot of weakness. Let me tell you what I think is going on. Nobody's taking the vaccine anymore because they're hearing all these stories about how it's bad and it's causing cancer and myocarditis. And we're all probably knowing people that know people that are having some of these things. Cancer is up. We're getting a lot of these reports from a lot of doctors now in hospitals that the incidence of cancer and unexplained deaths is all going up. Maybe that's anecdotal. Maybe it's statistical. Maybe we're not getting the full story. I don't know. I'm just telling you the market's getting the story. And the market believes that now they may remove the liability exclusion that some of the big vaccine companies got because they rushed to the market, they hid data, and when they hid data about some of the results that they were getting in these vaccines, people are dying, people are getting myocarditis and cancer, and they're suing. And the indemnification that was signed with the government may go away because there was fraud. Potentially. I have no idea if any of this is true, but I think that's what the market is telling us. They're saying there's a risk of bankruptcy at Pfizer. There's a risk of bankruptcy at BioNTech. there's a risk of bankruptcy at Moderna and whoever was involved in some of these. And Johnson & Johnson's been rumored for several months to be going out of business or going bankrupt and having to reorganize. So there's a lot of questions in the biotech industry, and you can see the chart is reflecting that. The market's usually ahead of what we think and what the news says. The market kind of knows. So they're telling us something. I don't know if I'm just making this stuff totally up. You get to decide, but the market's kind of telling you, you don't want to be in bio. And it's kind of gone to that swing point that it had back in September of last year. And it bounced all the way up and it's come back down and it's now testing that level. We got to watch over the next couple of weeks to see if it's going to hold that level. All right, enough on that. That's the doom and gloom side. Let's talk about Apple. Look at that beautiful 3-week, 4-week uptrend on Apple. It's moved up 19 points in the last 3 weeks. It tested the 50-day moving average on the way down. It tested the 200 on the way down. It's popped back up through both of them. And if you go all the way back to December of last year, where it bottomed at 124, look at how that year started. And it started just like it's starting right now, with a nice, long, several-week uptrend, which carries it through, a 9-month period where it just keeps going up. Apple's strong. We all know it's not probably going out of business. They're probably going to sell a lot of phones and earbuds and subscriptions and whatever else they sell. It's awesome. So Apple looks strong. Tesla is not as strong right now. It's showing that it's having a little trouble holding that 50-day moving average based on some stuff that has been news. Elon Musk said this or said that. To me, none of that matters. It's all noise. But it's filled a bunch of gaps on a healthy basis. And I suspect we're going to see, me, I'm an optimist on Tesla, and you all know that I have a lot of Tesla. I think it turns around here, and we'll see if it can do that and hold that 250 area. It's got some work to do, though. It's got to go to the 268 level, the 278 level, the 300 level. But if it can break through those levels, because it's selling more trucks, it's selling more cars, it's got over $25,000 car that it's releasing, the stock looks pretty good. Hey, this is all education and fun and entertainment. Don't take any of this stuff to the bank. Do your homework. But listen, we have a Thanksgiving coming up, and there's a lot more important things than making money, although the making money is kind of fun if you're making cash flow. Hopefully you are. But let's focus on Thanksgiving. It's a time for us to be grateful for the things that we have in our lives, the people we have in our lives, the love we have in our lives. So try to start focusing on that as you go into Thanksgiving. If you don't do it all year long anyway, right, which you should. Listen, thanks a lot for being here. I'm grateful for you. And I'll see you next Friday for a very brief Thanksgiving weekly market update. Until then, have a great weekend. See you next time. Take care. Bye.